Yes, indeed, folks, you're tuned into Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Okay, time for some more ranting. This entire show is pretty much ranting, except for the interview that we've got coming up later on. But first, a quick congratulations have to go out to, of course, the one and only Insidia, who just managed to kill the Mimmer on hard mode. Yes, they did. And they get something like this. Enough of that. Thank you very much. So, yes, well done to Insidia for that. Very, very good indeed. Now, oh dear. You might remember a few weeks ago that we went on a bit of a cavalcade of pain and suffering regarding the World of Warcraft UI add-on development policy. And, you know, as someone who is a law graduate, I decried many things about it, including the fact that the guy who drafted it was obviously a 5-year-old chimp. I mean, this is terrible. There's so much doublespeak in this entire thing. It's a disgrace. You can't define anything. Now, some of you may also be aware, and this is going to be a big round topic. Trust me, I will get to my point by the end of these 15 minutes. You'll think it's a little bit random, but it all coalesces at the last minute. It's like the plot of a conspiracy thriller, like State of Play, which is actually quite a good movie, and you should go see it. Now, recently an add-on by PopCap Games came out. And PopCap, of course, you may know, the kings of casual, as it were. They brought out many games, including Peggle, and they actually brought out a Peggle mod, which is great fun. It's a wonderful add-on. Big fan of that. It's got all sorts of amazing things involved in it. Now, it came out, and the first thing that I thought is like, I have the feeling that this, in some way, is going to breach the add-on policy. Yeah? At this point in the show, I was randomly disconnected for no apparent reason. Oh wait, there is an apparent reason. Some idiot cut through the fiber optic backbone. Oh dear. Let me tell you a quick story before we go on, assuming that I can actually keep my internet connection up. A few days ago, some jackass, and I do mean jackass, they're building an extension to something called the Tyne Tunnel, right? Which goes under a river called the Tyne, somewhere around Newcastle, right? And they cut through the main fibre optic cable, which supplies the internet and phone for basically the entire area, like with a 35-mile radius. And since then, it's been dodgy as hell. And now it's gone down again. So hopefully, it's going to stay up. If it doesn't, what will happen is the show will end up being rescheduled for Tuesday. Yeah, there'll be a Tuesday assault, and hopefully everything will be back up and running. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Okay. So, let's talk a little bit about this thing, right? So, the Peggle add-on, right? And I assume you all heard that before I unceremoniously dropped off of the internet. The Peggle add-on. Great fun. And I thought, maybe it contravenes some policies or whatever. So, you know, because I hate this thing. I think this thing is absolutely horrible. The UI development policy is like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life as regards to utterly terrible, draconian, arbitrary rubbish. Now, I had a look at the Peggle add-on, and I had an add-on developer also have a look at the Peggle add-on. Yeah? And the first thing I asked him, is the code obfuscated or otherwise hidden or closed in any way, shape or form? And his answer was yes, it's not fully obfuscated by any stretch of the imagination, but it is partially obfuscated. Yeah? And that is against Provision 2 of the UI add-on development policy, which says that the add-on code must be completely visible and in no way hidden or obfuscated. And it is partially obfuscated. So that's a bit of a problem. But that's not the biggest thing. Because also, in the Peggle add-on, there is a direct link. If you go onto your Peggle add-on, you will see, in the About section, there's a direct link to check out our other games at www.popcap.com. Now, last time I checked, popcap.com did not give out free games. Indeed, they are a commercial development company. And that was not a link to the add-ons, that was a link to the page with the buying. Which, of course, contravenes Provision 4 of the add-on development policy, which clearly states add-ons may not be used to advertise any goods or services. And add-ons may not include any advertisements. Indeed. Now, let me get this out here from the start, right? I don't hate PopCap. I think PopCap are brilliant. I pre-ordered my copy of Plants vs. Zombies, and I am absolutely looking forward to it. And I'm definitely looking forward to the time when they release the add-on Scourge vs. Zombies. Hang on a minute, that's not the right way around. Plants vs. Scourge. Yes, that would be awesome. I would be a massive fan about that. of that. Actually, it could be Herbs versus Scourge. It's like build a Peace Bloom cannon. Be the best thing ever. So yeah, I'm a big fan of PopCap, right? What I'm not a fan of is double standards. And here's some double standards for you, right? This add-on was promoted on the front page of WorldOfWarcraft.com when it clearly contravenes provisions 2 and 4 of the add-on development policy. Now, what am I saying here? Should I say that the add-on should be removed? Absolutely not. What I'm saying here is that Blizzard needs to get its bloody head together and say, hey, we have a set of standards and we're going to apply them universally. We're not just going to apply them when and if we feel like it. Because you know what? No add-on developer should feel obliged, in any respect, to pay attention to this add-on development policy when Blizzard are clearly turning a blind eye to one that violates 2 of those provisions. Yeah? And that's one of the major ones as well. It may not include advertising. That's one of the big ones. You know, it's way up there with pay for this add-on in the terms of things which will get you burned in Blizzard hell. So yeah, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of that at all. Not in any respect. So what it says to me is, well, what exactly are Blizzard playing at? Because this is not the only thing which has been going on this week. There's been a couple of other things. Another thing that's been happening is that Blizzard has sent cease and desist orders to a bunch of iPhone developers who have developed various add-ons that do stuff with the Armory, yeah? And some of them you have to pay a small fee for, and some of them are free. They see indeed all of them, right? Cease and desist. Now, as you know, cease and desist isn't legally binding, but it is basically a threat. It's like, do this, or we will spank you with a lawsuit. It's horrible. You know, getting a C&D is really nasty. It's unpleasant. I've had to send a few myself. It's not a very nice thing to do. So, to me, this is yet another example of Blizzard being overbearing with their intellectual property. Yeah? Now, we've seen that add-ons can do all manner of different things that Blizzard may not have even thought about. And so can iPhone apps and stuff like that, and they can offer utility. Now, there has been a comparison, and this is why some people have argued that it was okay to take the iPhone apps down, between that and another recent issue. And that recent issue has been simply this. The Curse and WoW Matrix issue. Now, those of you who are not aware, WoW Matrix is a client which can be used to download and update from various different sites, yeah, add-ons. Now, recently, Curse and I believe WoW Interface as well created code within their websites to stop WoW Interface from working with their sites. Now, of course, there was some outcry from the noobs and the scrubs who cried, it's a monopoly, yeah. There's actually a thread on this issue on the World of Warcraft EU forums, which is a total disgrace. It's absolutely horrendous. Of course, not realizing that the WoW Matrix client does nothing more than leech bandwidth from sites that are already incredibly expensive to run to begin with. And indeed, if you don't believe me, then I managed to get some stats. I talked to one of the guys who works over at Curse, and he gave me some interesting statistics. He told me this. On patch day, you want to know how much throughput they push? Like, throughput is how much you're pushing through at any given time through a pipe, yeah? Pipe, of course, being internet connection. 4 gigabits a second. 4 gigabits! I mean, that's nuts. Have you any idea, like, how massive that is in comparison to everything? Alright, just to give you an idea, WoW Radio's server can output 100 megabits. Yeah, that's WoW Radio's download server. Our streaming server can output a lot more than that, but we have 32 separate boxes for streaming. Now consider the ludicrous amount of bandwidth that is. Yeah, and on a normal day, apparently on a quiet day, they're pushing through about 400 to 500 megabits per second. And on average, you know, to the amount of bandwidth, they couldn't even count how much bandwidth they use. But there was an estimate of between about, 500 terabytes and maybe a petabyte of information. You know, it's difficult to track that much, but good lord. You want to know how much that costs? Well, I can tell you. On a normal month, not including patch days, it costs a five-figure sum. And my source from Curse claimed that 3.1 will probably cost them in the region of a 6-figure. 6 figures! Yeah? That's real money, folks. We're not talking gold here, we're not talking moon dollars, this is real money. Spent to give you guys a load of add-ons. Now, are you telling me seriously that a site like that shouldn't be able to recoup as much money as humanly possible through advertising? Yeah? And where are they not getting their advertising? Well, it's quite obvious. WoW Matrix. Using that client bypasses the advertising. You know, we run a relatively high bandwidth site, nowhere near as high bandwidth as that. But you know what? If we had people that did nothing more than skip all the adverts on our streams and ad block everything that we had, on our website, we would be in serious trouble because we wouldn't be able to support the station. It would shut down. Curse are the same way, but Curse are enormous. You know, and you say, oh, well, Curse isn't required to do anything. Oh, no. Like, well, yeah, that's true. Of course, there are other alternatives. Are there any that's more convenient and more reliable and have a bigger selection of add-ons? No, not even the slightest. Curse is the source. There is a reason why everyone goes there, because it's good. That's why it got so popular, because it is good. That's what generally happens when you put out a good product. And yes, I did just say a product and a service. And here's the thing, and this links in nicely with the add-on policy, that a bunch of people on the forums were also complaining that Curse themselves breached the add-on policy, Provision 1, which is actually kind of like a sort of meh, maybe they did, maybe they didn't kind of thing. Because, of course, Provision 1 of the add-on policy is really badly written, like the rest of the add-on policy. It specifically says this, yeah? Developers may not create premium versions of add-ons, okay, Curse didn't do that, with additional pay-for features. Charge money to download an add-on, charge for services related to an add-on, or otherwise require some form of monetary compensation to download or access an add-on. Now that is a grey area, yeah, because that is really badly phrased. And I did contract law in the first year of university, and there was no way that anything would get away with phrasing that badly. It's too ambiguous. There's 50 different ways to interpret it. And of course a bunch of people were whining and complaining, and it all comes down to that. So, on the WoW Matrix Curse issue, and on the issue of Curse providing a premium client, I say, why the hell shouldn't they? For what possible reason shouldn't they? Ad revenue over the last 12 months, due to the economic meltdown, has decreased 300%. Yeah? It has dropped a huge amount. Absolutely insane amount. Because it's not actually 300%, it's just an awful lot. Because 300% would be impossible. It's insane how much the ad revenue has actually dropped. So, why on earth shouldn't they be able to run a business based around WoW? You know, why shouldn't anyone be able to run a business based around WoW? Hey, is it just the select few that get Blizzard's stamp of approval? Hell no. Yes, WoW is a product, and yes, the intellectual property belongs to Blizzard Entertainment. But as with all good products, things that surround it, services, third-party add-ons, these come about. That is representative of a good product, and indeed companies should be encouraging that, not stamping on it. How good would the iPod be if you couldn't buy third-party stuff for it? What about all of those accessories? All sorts of things. Massive numbers of different products have all of these things surrounding them. Do those companies suddenly go around and say, oh, well, here's the policy. Sorry, you can't develop this for this, and if you do, we'll sue you into the ground. And what's worse, do those companies have a community of people willing to white knight their dumbass decisions? I bet they don't. I mean, Blizzard is pretty much unique in that respect. We've got people claiming, oh, well, I hope Curse gets shut down. No, you don't. Why the hell would you hope that Curse gets shut down? Why the hell would you hope that any fan site gets shut down? These guys provide a service to the community. Yeah, they now have a premium client, which you pay a pitiful sum to use. I mean, God's sake, if you buy an annual subscription, it's like $2 a month. $2. I can't even get a sandwich for that. It's just insane how cheap it is. And if you're going to condemn then, well, why don't you go and condemn File Planet? Because File Planet do exactly the same thing. Do you think File Planet gets sued by people saying, oh, you are providing and making money off of hosting our stuff, let's sue you? Oh, wait, that doesn't actually happen, does it? Because that would be totally unreasonable. They're charging for a service, an optional service, I might add. There is a free version of the service. You can download whatever the heck you want. And what am I getting to here? You might wonder what all of this is about. Well, this is what it's about. It's about Blizzard having double standards and getting away with it because its community is too stupid to work out when it's being conned. Seriously, the forums are full of people that just want to be right no matter what. They want to tear people down to their level because they are nobody. They are nobody at all. They're just another face in the crowd. They're just another player in the game. The average run-of-the-mill Joe who has nothing, absolutely nothing to share with the world. Nothing of any value to contribute to the community. It happens all the time. You see it happen in all walks of life. It is pathetic. And in WoW, there is no exception. The fact of the matter is, you cannot let Blizzard get away with this kind of thing because a company will push its boundaries as far as it is. I like Blizzard. Of course I like Blizzard. I'm doing radio shows about Blizzard. I spent the last 4 years of my life doing that. Why don't hate Blizzard? But I also know they're a company that now has shareholders thanks to their merger with Activision, and they will trample on your rights if they get the opportunity to do so. And the problem is the community lets them. Because the community is too interested in being at each other's throats than actually forming a unified front and saying enough is enough. We support the guys who help our community. We support the sites that allow us to download add-ons. We might even pay for the premium service because it's a good service. We don't try and tear them down. We don't try and report them to Blizzard. We don't egg Blizzard on and say, sue them, sue them, sue them. It's like a gladiatorial arena combat of the guys that used to turn up to hangings. It's pathetic. I literally have never seen anything like it. It is a cesspit of a horrible, horrible community we have going on here. And it's got to be stamped out. Seriously, and it is your job to do that kind of thing. You are a member of this community, whether you like it or not, and if you post on the forums or are involved in any kind of community whatsoever, WoW Radios or anyone else's, it is your duty to sit down and type this stuff out, and say, hey, this is ridiculous. See the double standards. You let Peggle do this and you don't let the other guys do it? Did they slip you a few coins under the table? Little brown envelope, was that what happened? Make Blizzard accountable because you pay their wages, and as cliched as it sounds, you pay the subscription fee that allows the game to exist, and there is a certain amount of accountability involved in that. You should be supporting your fellow members within the community because they would not hesitate to bend over backwards to support you, and have done so for the past 4 years. And I can only thank them for that. Thank Curse, thank the add-on developers, thank every bloody fan site in the WoW community and anyone that ever contributes, because Lord knows the vast majority do not, and they are beacons of light in a cesspit of failure. You're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. I'll be right back after this with the one and only Legacy interview with a guy whose connection is actually even worse than mine. Enjoy.